En la historia de la investigación del fenómeno extraterrestre, el caso de Billy Meier, un granjero suizo, permanece aún como el más completo. Más de 125 fotografías y 8 películas de 8 milímetros fueron tomadas. Partes de metal y grabaciones de audio demuestran la fortaleza de este caso. Las advertencias y predicciones presentadas desde el año 1974 corroboran la autenticidad de la fantástica historia de Billy Meier, como el hecho de que se estaría abriendo un hoyo en la capa de ozono y que el gas de bromo y sus derivados eran los más peligrosos. A más de 30 años de haber comenzado esta historia, aún se mantiene como una de las más importantes y espectaculares en la investigación del fenómeno ovni.
Each human on Earth and each human over the whole universe has different vibrations. The vibrations of human is made out of his thinking, and the vibration themselves, they are something like magnetic electrical waves, and they are turning from human to human, from planet to planet, and over the whole space of the universe.
When entering your terrestrial state, we must make an adjustment in our vibrational patterns. It is similar to you adjusting the fine-tuning on your communications devices. In our case, it allows for the clear perception necessary for an exchange to take place.
Los OVNIs, proyecto de investigación Capítulo Ecuador, presentan Billy Meier, toda la historia.
The place is Switzerland. The time, early spring, 1978.
An unusual team of people makes its way to a secret rendezvous. Their goal, a tiny mountain village named Schmidt-Rutti.
Head of the team is Lee Elders. Based in Phoenix, Arizona, he runs a company called Intercept that deals in industrial counter-espionage. Britt Elders, his wife and partner in Intercept, specializes in electronics. The third member of the team, also a partner and longtime associate, is Tom Welsh. They were brought here by Wendell Stevens, retired Air Force colonel and for over 20 years one of the world's leading UFO investigators. Their mission? To check out one of the most remarkable UFO cases ever reported. One that has been called alternately too good to be true, the hoax of the century, or the start of a new age for humankind. Stevens leads them over a circuitous route, winding through back roads and stopping often along the way.
Why all the precautions?
Well, I didn't want to tell you this before, but this man's been shot at.
Shot at?
Yeah, somebody's trying to kill him.
Why?
I don't know. There's some people are spooked by this whole thing, and he's being threatened.
Thus begins what was to become a 5-year investigation. Before it is over, they will be embroiled in controversy and forced to use every resource at their command.
Hi, Billy. You're okay? Yeah. I brought my friend's been telling you about. This is Britt Elders.
Hi. Good to meet you.
The Elders.
His name is Edward Meier. He is called Billy, an old nickname that sprang from his fondness for heroes of the American West. Buffalo Bill, Wild Bill, and Billy the Kid. He is a farmer. He claims he has been in contact with beings from another world. He also claims to have proof of these contacts.
Mr. Meier, when did the experiences begin? The contact begins on January 28, 1975 in Hinwil. How did it happen? What made you go outside into the forest? I got something like a very light voice in my head. I heard something to leave the house, to go out and to take a photo camera with me. So I left my house, and then when I was far outside from the village, I heard a singing noise in the sky. And when I was looking up there, I have seen a disc. This disc was flying over the clouds, and then it came to the point where I was staying with my motorcycle. Then slowly it came lower and lower and settled down between the white trees and the forest there behind.
Meier later photographs the impressions left by the disc's tripod landing gear. The grass has been pressed and swirled in a counterclockwise direction. Even a year later, the grass has not sprung back, but Meier notes that the impressions swarm with insect life.
Then I have seen a person who came out of the disc.
Person came out?
Yeah. I have seen that it is a woman.
Mr. Meier, what did they look like?
She looks like a human from this earth. Like you, like I, like human beings from this earth.
You call us extraterrestrials, and you attribute to us superhuman powers. But we are like you. We too are still far removed from perfection and must evolve constantly, just like yourselves.
After the first words, we turned and was going to this tree here.
You walked over here?
Yeah. Sit down.
And you sat here and talked to her?
Yeah. Then we was talking here for about 1 hour or 1 hour and a quarter, something like that.
Did she give you a name? What did you call her?
Yeah, she told me her name is Semyase.
Semyase?
Yeah.
Billy, what kind of feeling did you have sitting here under this tree with a woman who just landed in a spacecraft?
I wasn't afraid about these things. I was afraid about the army only, because they have a station somewhere there behind the forest. But I wasn't afraid about the disc.
Where do they come from, Mr. Meier?
They shall be coming from the star picture of the Pleiades.
The Pleiades, a bright star cluster some 500 light years from Earth. Although the cluster consists of hundreds of stars, 7 stand out clearly to the naked eye. The Greeks call them the nymphs of heaven. We call them the 7 sisters.
What was going through your mind? What did you want to talk about?
You see, my head was full of questions, but the most of the time she was telling me, and I hadn't many chances to ask her something.
Several times we have tried to establish contact with the humans, but usually those selected were not willing. They were afraid others would consider them liars, mad, or would try to destroy them.
You see, the first she told me I shall get the most best pictures of UFOs, what's ever happened on Earth. The second thing, I shall go out to tell the truth to the human on Earth, why they are coming to here, what reason they have, that they are coming to Earth not to harm us, not to make war, not to bring peace.
Why are they interested in us, a society thousands of years behind them in technological development? According to Meier, we share common ancestors. Their forefathers were our forefathers. We are, in a sense, family.
This is the place, Bergerumlicum, where I took that picture.
Show us how you took the picture, Billy.
Meier takes the team to other contact sites and demonstrates how he operates his cameras.
I have here a small wheel to turn the film, and I shall get the picture. You see, on this way I put on my camera.
We're taking movies, right?
With a film camera on a tripod, Meier can shoot stills with his 35mm camera at the same time.
And then I can start to film. Here I got the movie, when was the ship hanging there up, and when it after was jumping.
By jumping, Meier means the ship disappears and reappears.
From that out, I always got the electrical hit.
By electrical hit, Meier means an electric shock. He also noted a light shift at each event.
On this place I had one...
Meier takes the investigators to over a dozen sites, describing the craft, which he calls beam ships, and relating the information he says the Pleiadians gave him.
You see here, you see there the road, and on the middle of the distance to the road was the ship hanging in the air and bubbling in a very strong wind. And in the background on the road was driving cars from Teilingen to Romlikon and from Romlikon to Teilingen. But if somebody have seen something about the ship out of the cars, I don't know.
You didn't hear anything after that?
No, not once.
Guido Moosbrugger is not a neighbor. He lives about 2 hours away in Austria. He heard about the Meier experiences and came to see for himself.
Have you ever had any experience with Billy in connection with these things that are going on here?
Yes, I have seen a few demonstrations myself, especially at night, and was present at the landing site during one landing, and I saw other things. A lot of things happened in those 6 years.
You have seen things with your own eyes. Did you ever photograph anything?
I was allowed 2 times to photograph at night. As we sat inside the car, we saw all of a sudden to the north, above the meadow, out of nowhere, a fire-red disc, about as large as a headlight.
And then what happened?
And then it suddenly disappeared. Then there was a short pause, after which, at the same place again, appeared all of a sudden a silvery white ball. Then there was another pause, and then the same ball appeared again. It flew toward us, got larger and larger, then shrunk, collapsed, and then, like magic, it was gone. And best of all, it looked like a shower of sparks.
Estamos presentando Billy Meier, toda la historia.
The contacts continue at a furious pace, sometimes 2 or 3 a week. Meier claims to have had over 130 meetings. He has taken hundreds of photographs and has over 3,000 pages of notes.
For a long time, we've had an urge to contact someone who sincerely wants to be helpful in our mission. Here and there, we open such contacts with inhabitants of different worlds, but only when they have developed enough to become rational, thinking beings. Then we prepare them for the thought that they are not the only rational, thinking beings in the universe.
Poppy, how long have you and Billy been married?
Now, 6 years.
And you were married in Greece?
Yes.
Uh-huh. What did you think when Billy first told you about these experiences?
Her English shaky, Poppy reverts to German.
Ja. Es war schwierig am Anfang. It was difficult at the beginning. Weil because she never knows anything about this case.
Well, she didn't know.
No.
When did she find out?
She says Billy takes a long time that her tell her something from the UFO.
And then how did you feel about it?
Unruhig einerseits, weil and she was thinking why this happened all to me and asked him some questions about all this case. And it was very difficult for Bobby.
Were there times when you had just had it up to here and you couldn't take any more?
She never was thinking to leaving this whole case, but she was crying and fighting against Billy and against the whole case.
At one point, Poppy admits, she was so fed up she burned half the photographs.
today the feeling is other because she knows very well about the whole case and things about the Pleiadians, and this is very important for her.
Listen here.
Wow, you recorded that here?
My wife recorded this one here, and in the meantime, I've been there down where he's standing Lee with the other recorder.
You had another recorder down
Yes.
there. How high was the ship above you?
About 60 meters.
60 meters. How far would you estimate it is from here down there today?
I think some 300 meters.
The sounds bear no resemblance to anything Stevens has heard before. Meier gives him both tapes for analysis.
How do they contact you, Billy? How do you know to go out and meet them?
Yeah, that's a simple way. If I hear the order in my head to go to a contact, then I leave the house or just the place where I staying at the moment, and then they will guide me to the place where they pick up me.
You say they're advanced technologically. How far ahead of us advanced are they?
They are about 3,500 years in their experiences about technology.
They study us because we represent an earlier stage of their own evolution. They made a very interesting observation at one point. They said that if we could now concentrate Earth's energies and resources, we could achieve all that they can do now in about 300 years of our time.
Yeah. If you've been in the ship, why not photographs inside of the Pleiadians themselves?
It's impossible to make it because there are powers inside. They always break the film.
He's taken a number of rolls of film, and when they're developed, they're usually black. They've got anything that's wavy lines through it.
So I lose it so hundreds of films.
Why are they here now, and what do they want?
You see, they don't come here to harm us. They don't come to start trouble here or war or to overtake the earth in their ruling. They just see us here as their little brothers or something like that. And they want to bring the real teaching of the natural life and of the spiritual belonging, spiritual teaching, spiritual life, and all this.
But they must want something from us.
They just want nothing.
Nothing.
You see, for the human on earth, it's impossible to believe this, but that's really the truth. They just want nothing from the humans on earth.
The session goes on for hours. To every question, Meier has an answer. The investigators are unable to shake him or to find flaws in his story. Overwhelmed by the evidence they have gathered, the team meets to plan the next stage of the investigation.
We're getting it all.
We'll leave tonight?
Yeah.
Okay, on Meier. I think Meier is a very sincere and honest type person. What do you think, Steve?
Has anything changed since you were here?
The man seems to be the same, but there's some things changing around him. He's better off. He's got more people around him. More things are happening, but he still is basically sincere.
What about the psychological aspects to the man?
Do you think it's possible that he's a little schizoid? I mean, it's difficult to tell if what he's saying the Pleiadians are telling him is actually coming from them or coming from him.
How do you determine that?
Well, we can never prove
Too many
that
other people involved.
aspect of the case.
Others have seen the same thing. There's a terrific cross-section of people here. You've got a school teacher, you've got a commercial pilot, you've got a businessman, you've got a CPA. They're as good as any average cross-section of society we've got. And they all tested him themselves to their own satisfaction before they ever got this far.
Well, I think we ought to go back and throw the book at this one. Everything we can, top technology we can get involved. I think we ought to let the chips fall where we may and just see what we find.
We're going to run down and say goodbye to Meier, and we'll tell him goodbye for you.
Give him my best.
Okay.
I'll see you later.
They've done what they can here. Meier has turned over all his material, but he has one more surprise in store.
So we want to thank you for all your time and trouble.
Oh, yeah. Okay, just a moment, wait. I have you something. Here.
What's this?
Metal samples.
Metal samples?
Yeah.
Where did you get these?
I got it from Symbiosis, and she brought them from Era.
Are they extraterrestrial?
Yeah.
Metal samples. The kind of hard evidence Stevens had hoped for.
We got the Vogel tape in.
Great.
Back in Phoenix, the investigators begin to sort out the massive material Meier gave them. There are hundreds of photographs, the 8mm films, sound tapes of the beam ships, and the fragments of metal. They know they will have to call in scientists from a variety of fields to help assess the evidence. The task appears monumental. They decide to check the photos first. If these are fake, the rest doesn't matter.
Here we have our image. The ground is below. We'll place this on the platen, emulsion side up, in order to focus on the emulsion.
The first step involves translating the photographic image into digital information, the language computers can read.
We can start this machine from the point which it is at now and scan 500 lines, 500 points per line, at a very small aperture, and watch the result of this scan being placed, digital information, keep in mind, onto a display. All right, over here on our display, we can observe what the densitometer is doing.
This microdensitometer is the same one used to help analyze the photos beamed back from space by the U.S. Pioneer mission.
And tell it that we want to go 5 microns between each pixel. Then we'll be digitizing a ½ centimeter square, scanning the first lines.
The digital information will be sent on for an analysis that will take weeks to complete.
Meanwhile, Welch and the elders decide to learn what they can of the history of UFO experiences.
But can you give us some more background on this phenomenon? What is this all about?
Well, it's not a new thing, Lee. This thing's been going on for a long time.
How many sightings have there been?
One of the researchers calculated that there may be as many as 70,000 reports in a year, worldwide.
Is there anything these sightings have in common?
Okay, there are some common things, commonly reported. First of all, they're always accidental. UFO pictures, up to this point at least, are accidental. They happen once, and they're gone.
In Stevens' files are over 3,500 photographs of UFOs, some from early in this century. Most were single sightings, some observed by several people at the same time. In Perry, Ohio, the whole town watched a UFO at twilight for 30 minutes. In Brazil, a Navy photographer took a series of photos of a UFO flying over his vessel. Observers at NASA have spotted UFOs at our space launches. Tientsin, China, Woonsocket, Rhode Island, Norway, Corsica, Japan, New Jersey. These are among the sightings that are reported. No one can guess how many go unreported.
Mary, do you have that file that we had on spectrographic analysis that we did?
Oh, yeah, Tom, it's
As the investigation continues, results from the testing begin to come in to the Intercept office in Phoenix.
Hey, Lee.
Hey, Tom, what's up?
Just got this back. We sent this photograph over to Neil Davies. Just got his report back.
Neil Davis.
Physicist, aerospace industry subcontractor.
Right, okay, got it.
Examined the photograph with microdensitometer. Also, these you're seeing here are the black and white color separations that he did, and let's see what the results were here. Examination of these plots did not reveal any details which would cast doubt upon the authenticity of the photograph. And there's more. Color copy negatives, color separation. Nothing was found to indicate a hoax. And his conclusion is even more interesting. Let's see, black specks. Nothing was found in the examination of this print which could cause me to believe that the object in the photo is anything other than a large object photographed at distance from the camera.
Meier reported 6 different configurations of Pleiadian beam ships. Davis analyzed what the investigators designated as Variation 2. Variation 3 now goes to computer analyst Jim DiLitoso.
This is the new picture that we digitized last week. Using the microdensitometer, we transferred it over to floppy disk here. Have you found any anomalies yet, of any kind? Anything? I find strange things, but nothing that would tell me that someone's tampered with the pictures. I see. Nothing indicating a hoax method or indicating superimposition or anything like that? Nothing that I can find. Have you been working on the grain at all yet? Yeah, I have. Well, what are we seeing here? What we're seeing here is that the film grain holds up the way that it should. In the pixel distortion test, it appears to me and to the computer that this object was photographed in the same original piece of film at the same time that the background was photographed. In other words, no overlay.
Hey, Lee, look what I got here.
Stevens has more news.
We got a report back from Shellman. Sound analysis?
He had sent the sound tapes Meier took of the craft to Robin Shellman, specialist in sound identification.
He found some things we didn't hear on there.
Such as?
Well, he picked up, besides the basic sound, he picked up a small dog barking. Of course, we could hear him. He picked up a European police siren. We never heard that. He picked up a crow cawing.
Wait a minute. How in the hell does he pick all this stuff up? How does he determine the sound?
They've got a sound bank back there that they match sounds in. They can identify known sounds.
Okay, on this sound bank of his, anything there to match it?
He said he can't match the basic sound. He can match all of the other sounds on the tape, but he can't match the sound of the object itself, the emitted sound. Now look at this. He's concluded up to this point that the machine must have been built for a specialized application. Recognizing the sounds from such a machine may be difficult. Also,
later, Shellman will theorize from the sounds what those specialized applications might be.
About 4 hertz.
Picked an area here that,
next, Stevens takes the metal fragments to be examined under the electronic spectrometer to determine their components.
Typical-looking area in the sample.
Preliminary examination of the metal has been done in Switzerland.
And we've got the little marker bars here that we can line up on each peak as they come up. This one indicates we have silver there. Over here, let's see. We've got some copper, small amount of copper. That looks like about all that's in here at the moment.
The big band here is silver, though.
The big one is silver.
Later analysis of other fragments also reveals small amounts of thulium, a rare earth element that is difficult and costly to extract here.
This is one of the...
Because of the unusual nature of the findings, the fragments are given to chemist Marcel Vogel, an expert in crystalline structures and inventor of many substances used in computer components.
The first specimen I looked at is a metal specimen, which I classified as F1. This is the appearance that it looked at, rather golden colored on one side, silvery colored here. We find that, in truth, it is silver and a small amount of copper. We look at it here, this same area here, under polarized light. What is unusual of this small specimen is both highly crystalline nature, and suddenly we come to a metal section as we see here, and it showed a combination of metals that I've not encountered in any normal bit of metallurgy, both crystalline deposits and metal. Now, we, with any technology that I know of, could not achieve this on this Earth plane. I could not explain the type of material that I have and its discreteness by any known combination of materials. I could not put it together myself as a scientist. It's also a challenge because I showed it to one of my friends who was a metallurgist, and he shook his head. He said, I don't see how it can be put together. And we find that in this area there is evidence of machining, that there are striations which look like the sample has been worked mechanically. It doesn't look like anything that we've made here. At this moment, I would feel very much inclined to accept what was given to me as being true.